It is a story of a boy who is 20 years old. The boy lived in a village. This boy was different than the other stereotype boys. He lives alone, doesn't talk to anybody, always keeps himself inside the room, barely meet to people or friends. Whenever you imagine this kind of personality, you suddenly assume that the person needs psychiatric treatment. But sometimes your brain can cheat to you. It's not your fault. See, we live in a society where people are excited to judge others. The reason being for keeping himself alone was not his fear or madness at all. It was his passion. He wanted to become a writer. His ambition was big, quite big, but unfortunately, he lived in a family where all these things were not valued. His vision was clear because he was able to see himself as a writer in future. But due to lack of money, he was not able to do what he wanted to do. Always remember the Mark Twain's line. He was an American writer. He said, "The two most important days in your life are the day you were born, the day you find out why." That boy came to know why he was born, why he has been sent to earth. Whenever he wanted to write something on the paper, sometimes his paper were used to burn the stove, sometimes in wrapping his father's bread. The things went on like that for a while. Now the boy became 24 years old. He was being pressurized to go out of the village to find a job. It was not that he did not want to do the job, he was just afraid of going to the city. He was good at study, he passed his all necessity exam so that he can get a job easily. But that was his misconception. He is not going to get a job easily by doing intermediate and graduation from any college in the village. You will understand this further. So finally he reached to Delhi. As soon as he lays his feet on metro, suddenly he noticed that the people started staring at him. He was not as handsome that he got attention. Something was definitely wrong. Sooner he realized that he was not looking as like them. He wore dirty old-fashioned clothes compared than the fashionable clothes. There should be a branded shoe on his feet which he did not have. It was a flip-flop. It is a slipper. Well, it is said, first impression is the last impression. I am not saying that. It's a people choice. In Delhi, he stayed in his acquaintance and he slept sooner because of his tiredness. Next day, the sun rises and the time comes for which he was sent into the city, finding the job. He praises God and leaves home to find the job. While wandering for some time, he comes to know that a computer operator's job interview is going on in a company. He went to that company, submitted his resume, and gets in queue. He saw there are plenty of candidates standing ahead of him, and maximum are murmuring in English. He got little nervous. After a couple of hours, he is called. The first question is asked, "Introduce yourself." He didn't tell anything. Again, the interviewer asked, "Could you please introduce yourself?" After a while, he said nothing. "Please say something," the interviewer said again. The thing is, he got panicked badly. He couldn't speak anything further. In the end, he got rejected. One night, he started to think, was it a correct decision to come here in the city? See, whenever you try something and the result is negative, so these kind of thoughts comes in our mind obviously. That boy tried hard to get a job, but due to his lack of English and people used to think that he is not as skillful or capable to get a job, hence he didn't get the job. But there also light after dark, and one day came that he finally got a job. This part of life, this little part, is called happiness. However, his dream of becoming a writer was incomplete, but it doesn't mean he is not a happy person. Not every time has a good ending. Sometimes we have to compromise with life. And by the way, who knows that one day he will achieve his desire, isn't it? It is just the beginning of that boy. The rest of his life is remaining. The boy started a long journey whose conclusion is uncertain. Let's see what happened in future.